Speaking of issues, tonight I am dedicating tonight, and this will be my basic intro into tonight's festivities. The only videos I'm making tonight are going to be about finishing off my military rape project because I believe in it. It's something that affects men as well as women. It's something that also affects the public because it's not just what happens in the military stays in the military. Otherwise, this would be a problem, but not as big of a problem, but it's not. These people, then these rapists, some of whom are situational rapists, and they'll get their raping in wherever they can. Man, woman, in some cases kids, although we're not talking about that in the context of this topic, but it's something that should be discussed when talking about situational rapists because they do assault kids, whether people like to acknowledge that little nugget of scientific fact or not. And the problem is, some of these people, they're working their way up the ladder thanks to their buddies and everybody else around them that is this support group to keep them out of harm's way when a legitimate rape case is levied against these people, whether it be a man or a woman, although the ones for the men are so hard to pin down and so hard to prosecute because nobody wants to take this seriously. Oh, you're a soldier and a man? Well, walk it off. No, we don't care about your pain. We might care about the women's pain, but we're not going to care about your pain because you're a guy. You can't get raped. Or if you do, then you must have been asking for it. Sound familiar? And, you know, when other women are throwing these women who have come forward, most of whom are victims themselves of atrocious rapes, and can't get the medical help they need for serving their country and getting raped, it's disgusting. It's disrespectful to say the least, and it's terrible. And the fact that you've got other women willing to, some women willing to throw other women under the bus by saying, oh, you want into combat? Well, expect to get raped. And then you've got courts. You've got frickin' courts trying to rule as early as December of the year before last. Or maybe it was last December. You'll have to forgive me. My memory is in many different places, but I'll have my facts straight when I do the presentation tonight. That rape for men and women is an occupational hazard of serving. Yeah, you know, when I look at industries, it's not like if I go for a construction worker job, they'll say there is a high chance or a chance at all that you, even as a man, could be raped. You know, I think a few less guys would be into construction, don't you? You know, if I were going for a corporate job and they said, oh, yeah, you know, there's this little clause that we're supposed to tell you about, you know, but expect to get raped in this industry. I mean, not metaphorically. I'm saying you should probably have lube on hand because I can guarantee you your situational rapist is not going to have any lube on him. And yeah, I can tell you from experience, you just want to make sure your butthole is greased and ready because we know these people are rapists, or we know they've attempted rape before, but you know, we'll take anybody with a pulse, and so, you know, just expect to get raped. You know, just FYI, we've got Rape Thursday, in fact, just to facilitate this. So, you know, and as I said, in finding this out, in finding out the cases, especially of the men that are involved in this, not that I don't care about the women as well, it's like part of the reason why I stay on the straight and narrow isn't just my personal morality, it's the fact that there's a huge chance I'm going to get raped in prison, and I don't want to be raped, especially when you look at AIDS and HIV and people who rape because they know they're going to die of AIDS and HIV at some point, and they want to take as many fuckers with them as possible, pardon my language. So if I'm trying to stay as far away from going to prison by being a good law-abiding citizen as possible in this day and age because of the almost guarantee that I'll at least have an attempted rape upon me, then why would I want to go into the military if they cannot guarantee that I won't be raped? You know, it seems so ludicrous to me. And these people who will then say, well, I'm ahead of the, sexual abuse units for the military, and we're doing everything we can. No, you're not doing enough. Most of this legislation, most of these victims wouldn't need to come forward if you were doing enough. You're not. And if you can't fix the problem, and if we can't fix these hiring practices, because you know what? It's not just the military that I have concerns with. I have concerns with the police forces as well. No, I'm not one of these fuck the police, pardon my language, type of people here. I think that that's a rather ignorant and broad way of, and generalizing way to look at the police force. But when you look at the records of a lot of people who have long-standing histories of both rape and being in the law enforcement, you have to wonder, how is this allowed? You do the background checks and most of these people can be found, but it's like, oh, well, you passed the physical, we'll take you. Why? Why? Because then you have close quarters situations where you're begging for trouble. You know, it'd be like putting a child predator into a confined space with the gender and age group that this person prefers and expecting them not to rape the kid. I mean, you're just asking for trouble. You're throwing lambs to wolf dens and then saying that it's the lamb's fault for being a lamb, for being eaten. That's ridiculous. There's nothing about this that makes even the slightest bit of sense, whether logistically, legally, or otherwise. And this is why this topic matters. It's a social topic. These people are fighting and dying for us. And when you find out the statistics that women who have gone through these rapes have way more PTSD than a man who has seen active combat, there's a problem there. And then these broken victims are in society and their lives are falling apart and they have nowhere to go because we're just willing to, the military is just sitting there going, not our problem. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. La, 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 la. I didn't hear anything that you said. I didn't hear who you accused and what they did. I don't care they broke your jaw. I don't care they dislocated your spine. I don't care how many ribs they broke in their assault. It's not our problem. You're not you're not under our care, even though technically you are under our care. They've done everything and anything to put clauses in to basically say that whatever happens to you is none of the military's business and it's none of the military's problem. And meanwhile, we use these women up and some of these men up and then we just throw them away. We're kind of doing that with our veterans anyways, which is a whole nother video series that I may try to get into if I have time. But this is something that's important because this is not a way to support our troops, okay? This is not a sane and rational way to give our servicemen and women the things that they need. And it also ignores the fact that these people, these situational rapists in some cases, are then out in public. Only they have a chest full of medals to say that they're a trustworthy person, that they can do no wrong, can do no harm. And they're alone with your daughter. They're alone with your sister, your wife, your whatever. And then when they assault that, now maybe that gets your attention, but maybe it doesn't. Like, how many rapes in and out of the military is your level of tolerance? How many is too many for you before you decide, hey, Maybe there's something I can do. Maybe there's support I could be putting myself to. Nothing about tonight is going to be about, oh, donate to this or do that, it's to say, look at what we are doing. Look at what we are doing to our army, to our people, to people who just wanted to serve and protect our lazy butts. Not that I'm calling everyone who doesn't serve lazy, I'm just saying, you know, and it doesn't honor them. This has been going on for an excruciatingly long amount of time, and it's something that almost nobody wants to talk about until now. In fact, I'm glad that I knew about it because I never knew about this. And if one of my friends says he wants to join the military or she wants to join the military, then I'm going to say, sit them down and say, well, here's some things you should expect. Because people don't want to touch this topic. People don't want to touch this subject with a 10-foot pole, and it's far, far overdue that we actually do something about this instead of saying we're doing something about this. So that's that. I've got some things to do, but when I come back from my broadcasting night tonight, expect it to be nothing but the rest of the articles I wanted to present about this topic, because I don't want this to just get buried under things like Jodi Arias or all these other things that are going on here. This is far more important than our hatred of a woman who probably did kill her boyfriend or whatever, and is trying every dirty trick in the book to make herself seem like she's the victim and he deserved to die.